If you came across this today, my friend, it's not a coincidence. There's something you have to know. You have to know that you will succeed, that there's something big that is in the making for you. You know, they say success is not a matter of if, but a matter of when. Time is something unknown most frequently. But we need to understand that when we put in the intention, and intention is followed by the action, and the action is followed by persistency, and persistence is followed by consistency. And consistency then is driven by purpose, and purpose is driven by goal, and goal is driven by good, by something good you're working on, because you want to most probably improve something. If you want to improve something, therefore you're already looking at something that's greater than where you are most probably. And it doesn't mean that you're not appreciating where you are, you just want to experience something more. So therefore you're experiencing a call into an adventure. And isn't an adventure something you've been born for? Like, life would be so boring if you would be just walking around without a sense of it. Without a sense of this adventurous spirit that takes you into certain type of risks that sometimes, take something from you, but in return they give you an experience, a lesson, a knowledge, a wisdom that make you a bit bigger, a bit more expanded, and a bit less naive and maybe weak or irritated. So isn't it all something good you've been aiming towards, but maybe you've been looking at it from the wrong perspective? Hey my friend, slow down a little bit. There's a big success coming for you. I just feel that. And I can give you proofs of it. Yes, I will give you proofs that there's a big success coming towards you. The first proof is that you have an aim, you have a goal, you have a vision. That is a sign, that is a proof that you will succeed. But that proof will come to your awareness only if you don't stop kind of walking towards it. So everyone who came across a certain type of success firstly had a vision, had a goal, had a type of an idea that inspired him or her to make a change. Yes, very simple. But then they had or developed a certain sense of a faith that was just different than their doubts. And then their faith became stronger than their doubts because, faith is just knowing it will happen without having a physical evidence for it. So if you know that it will happen without having a physical evidence for it, it means there's already a proof that it will happen. Maybe not the way you want or you expect, but something will happen. You see, those who walk with the stream will eventually come to the ocean, right? An ocean for you may be abundance of something you're looking for. So what it means to walk with the stream? It means that you are having inside of you a compass. There's a compass inside of you. And compass is aiming towards that North Star, right? It's aiming towards the North Star. So what does it mean? It means that your North Star is your goal. It is your vision. It is something you are looking at and it is looking back at you. When you look at it, you feel inspired and it looks at you back with certain type of steps. So for example, when you take a piece of paper and you write down something you want to experience in your life, well, if you look at these goals for enough time, they will whisper to you what you should do. And sometimes the action is not really call that person or go at that meeting or start that business. The answer will be through one person, hey, read this book, or it will be like, hey man, hey woman, take care of your body because you're not a person who you need to be to experience that. Then you start taking care of your body, you take care of your hairstyle or your clothes, or you start to feel better, you start to feel more professional, and suddenly you feel more energized and you recognize, oh, my body posture is different. Oh, my facial expression is different. Oh, no, I feel more alive. There's more aliveness inside of me. What could I do with, oh, I just don't feel bored anymore. I don't feel lazy anymore. So yes, goals are powerful because they help you to have a target. You see, in some translations of the word sin, it says to miss the target. To miss the target. To sin in life means then to miss the target. But more precisely, it means that the target must be something that comes from God, or something that comes from the highest possible goodness, because the highest expression of a human being is truly virtuous, wise, intelligent, experienced, well-articulated, grounded, integrated human being, perhaps, right? So we have figures like Jesus or Buddha or other incredible teachers. And therefore we set goals for ourselves to become more like that, but maybe not like those people, but to have something that helps us to become more like that. So if you have goals like to have more money or to have more abundance or to have more health, well, you have these goals only because you believe it will take you closer to it. Is there something wrong with it? No. Well, you need freedom to have more experiences, to explore the world, to meet new people. Is that bad? No, it's good. It's good. You may have some other goals. Doesn't matter what they are. The point is that your sin in life is that you live against these goals of yours, that you live against this vision of yours. Sure, we can have different explanations of this. Sure, we can have different beliefs around what the real sin is. But if you ask yourself, like, how could I evolve my experience of life? How could I create more out of this experience? Not just materially, how could I have more, but how could I feel more? And it could mean, how could I truly feel more alive? How could I feel more of adventure? How could I feel more of happiness? How could I feel more of gratitude? When you start asking this, you recognize that answers come, and answers become this kind of North Star. They become goals for you. And with this kind of goals, then, a sin truly is not to follow them, living a life against them, looking for complaints, looking for excuses, finding reasons to be pulled astray, to follow temptations rather than inspiration. That's why inspiration truly means be in spirit, or be inspired by the Spirit, be touched by Spirit. Something moved you, something touched you. There was a voice inside of you. So I came here today to remind you a big success is in front of you. It's not somewhere far away. It's very close to you. And how do I know that? Because it's a pattern of life. Life rewards brave hearts. And it's not hard to be brave-hearted. Sometimes it's tough because you're challenged to really decide between what is right and what is easy. Sometimes you need to decide what is truthful and what's not, what's false, and follow the truth. And sometimes you need to decide to have discipline instead of follow the temptation. Those are big decisions we have to make, but they're life-changing, life-altering. And because you're deciding from the brave heart and you're choosing to do what's unfamiliar because you know it will take you closer to that, destination that is truly your destiny, I know that big success is there for you. It's really not somewhere out there. The biggest success you will ever experience is the person you will become. You see, everything you know you can be, you will once become if you will walk towards that you. And that will be your biggest success. Your biggest success will be when you will notice that you've changed in a good way, that you've grown, that you've become more, that you've learned skills that make you richer in wisdom and in solutions that can solve problems in the world. This is the greatest possible richness. Also, the greatest possible richness for you will be that you will have answers to what at some point in your life were just troubles and sources of suffering. You will have answers to it, and therefore you will be able to heal your pain because you will understand that it was a part of something bigger. You will also learn to understand, my friend, that you've been guided all along and you've been never alone because, well, you are never alone. Firstly, you have many of us here, your brothers and sisters, so you're not alone in this process. Secondly, you will notice there are people who actually want to support you, want to guide you, want to help you, want to teach you, and also want to learn from you. You will notice that community is sacred. You will notice that having a community of same-minded people is something that will save your life. But it will not just appear. Most probably you will go, or you're going, or you've already been through a phase of solitude. Why? Because it serves you as a purification. It serves you to let go of all the false ideas that don't serve you anymore. And yes, it was painful. It was like a hell. You've been through hell. Maybe you're still there. But you need to understand that hell is not a place to stay. It's a place to go through. It's like a cafe bar. You go there, you meet all the devils and other things there. You say hi and you say goodbye and you move on, right? Maybe you drink some coffee and you move on. That's hell. And it's annoying and it's exhausting and it's painful because you don't want to be there. But I guess you needed to be there because it taught you that you deserve more, right? And sometimes we go through this kind of, places and experiences. Even sometimes people feel like hell. Some people in our lives may be like a personalization of the devil. Sometimes they are like that. Only so, they say some people open your heart and some people open your eyes. Because, some people really teach you to see or to perceive certain characteristics in them that you should avoid next time, right? You recognize, the nature of humanity is that we are quite complex beings and not all people are good. Not all people are here to really wish good fortune for you. And it's okay. You can't avoid that. But you can set stronger boundaries and you can prioritize your well-being. And when you prioritize your well-being, it's a sign that you're going towards success. Because you are rather living in peace with yourself than choosing the chaos of the world. But when you decide to live in peace with yourself, you recognize that, even if you're quite a peaceful person, it's still beautiful if you can share this peace with someone else, right? So you can share a piece of you with someone else who needs it. And that is a beautiful thing we can do. And because you've started looking for it, it's a sign that you are about to succeed in many ways, especially in the one that will expand your character, that will strengthen your roots and kind of open your mind. Yes, it will open your mind and suddenly you will judge less and see more. And you will learn that everything was meant to be. But even when we say that everything is meant to be, it doesn't mean that we should stay where we are, right? If everything was meant to be, also moving on is meant to be, right? So maybe moving on is the only thing that's truly important. Constantly moving on. That's why in the previous video I said, in all these ancient tribes, when there was a trouble in society, an illness in a certain specific person, they advised that person to go into the nature and study it, because nature has a certain order to it. It doesn't go by your rules. It doesn't function by your rules. It has its own rules, but if we look at the history, well, nature survived everything, right? Nature survived everything. Actually, most of the time, it created its own disasters because it purified itself. So it has a very interesting system to it. So you see, oceans are moving. It's constantly changing. It's going through seasons. And each season has its good qualities and bad qualities. But there's actually nothing good and bad. Those are just different transitions that are happening all the time. And well, you can judge it, but it will still be happening. You can do nothing about it and it will still be happening. You can try to control it, but it will still win. Ancient Roman saying goes, the best way to win a battle with nature is to obey it, right? So sometimes when you are in a battle with yourself, you see you're still a part of nature, you're still a part of this complexity of cosmos and movement and constant change, you're a part of it, which sometimes means that your yesterday's identity will not resolve your today's troubles. Which means that if you become more present, you recognize that maybe you're not the same person you've been yesterday. So it means that an approach to what you are going through right now can change, and therefore you will see differently. Which means that when you learn to be more present, you will learn to be more open-minded and also open-hearted. And therefore what looked like a trouble was actually a wake-up call. It was an introduction into something new, and something new for you will be success, because it will look like a breakthrough, and breakthrough will be followed by more breakthroughs, and more breakthroughs will create a momentum into a new direction when you will experience more growth, more expansion, more good stuff, and more lessons that will just seem like a whole new life. And that will be a huge success for you. So, my friend, to anyone who came across this today, most probably there was something you needed to hear. And there was something that inspired you. And there was something that made you think a little bit. Like, oh yes, that's true. Do something about it. Sometimes I get messages from people like, I'm watching so many of your videos, but I have this kind of, troubles that I don't know how to deal with. And I'm like, are my videos not helpful enough or what? So usually it's because we just don't apply what we learn. We don't use what we got. I can give you a shovel, but if you will not dig with it, there will be no hole, no place to maybe plant some flowers, right? You need to use it, you need to dig with it. And you need to go through the process of suffering sometimes to recognize that it was worthy, because now you have a beautiful garden and some birds came to you to say, whoa, you did a great job. And you recognize that, well, that kind of a suffering was worth it. And there's many this kind of sufferings in our life. So one thing I've learned in my life was that I always need to put pain first and then pleasure. I always need to put pain first and then pleasure. So pain is usually learning, and pleasure is what comes after learning. Even if I will, you see, many times people just reward themselves for not doing anything. They go on the internet and they just watch things that boost their dopamines. They feel better about it. They're like, oh, so good. But then the next day they are completely tired, exhausted, whatever. You see, when you do something hard and then you reward yourself with something that brings you pleasure, you will keep the balance going in you. You will notice that, well, nothing good can persist if it's out of balance. So, in order for you to persist on your journey, keep balancing pain and pleasure. That's the simplest philosophy you can ever embody in your life. And that will lead you to the greatest possible success, because if you want to have a lot of money, firstly put in a lot of pain. And that pain will turn into the process, and process will turn into growth and learning and skillful expansion. And suddenly your skills will become so good that you will start enjoying in what caused you pain in the past. And suddenly pain will turn into pleasure. Well, when your work becomes too pleasurable, it also becomes boring, because at some point it will not teach you anything new anymore, which is a sign it's time for new expansion. That's how the biology of your body teaches you to evolve. Your emotions will not do the same. Your emotions will sometimes say, oh, pain is bad, I should avoid it. But when body experiences this kind of pain, well, do it and then reward yourself with something good. This is path towards success, my friend. Don't avoid what is unpleasant, because maybe the cave you're afraid to enter holds the treasure you seek, right? Oh, maybe it does. But you will need to look at it and find it for yourself. So my friends, I will leave you here. I hope you found something valuable today. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. And yeah, thanks to everyone for choosing to support my art on AttractPassion.com. You can find all of my paintings. Some are here behind me. Thank you so much. And also, please let me know. I'm doing different videos. So recently I felt more inspired to make this kind of videos where I'm actually looking at you. But I'm also making videos where I'm showing my art to you, playing my art in the whole video. So let me know what kind of videos you prefer the most, because it helps me to decide. I love to do both different styles, but I've noticed that the feedback is there's more feedback with this kind of videos, because maybe they feel more personal. So please let me know, because it helps me to create content. I will still do both. And yes, I love doing both of them, but your feedback means a lot. So thank you so much, my friends. And also thanks to everyone for joining our Patreon community for more exclusive content and community chat and all of that. Thank you so much, and till next time, one love.